After many years, Mars, the red planet, has finally been terraformed. But now, in order to claim its rich natural resources, the EDF has instituted martial law. In order to put an end to their tyranny, it falls to the Red Faction to take back Mars. Red Faction Guerilla is a third-person action shooter. In it, you play Mason, a demolitionist turned guerrilla resistance fighter who must battle the EDF in an effort to reclaim the planet in the name of its native population. The gameplay is mostly third-person run-and-gun with some sandbox elements thrown in. You can equip yourself with guns and rocket launchers when fighting troops on the ground, and then steal a car or jump on a mounted gun for more protracted firefights. When you're not playing the main story missions, there are plenty of side quests and optional objectives to complete. There are, for instance, combat challenges where you destroy a large amount of enemy vehicles, or harvesting where you find resources in the environment and collect them for some quick cash. There are also exploration and racing side missions. Come on. Damn it! But probably the easiest way to get cash and influence is just blowing up enemy buildings. Now that last one, that blowing up enemy buildings, that one's key because that's really what's at the heart of Red Faction Guerrilla's gameplay. Now, where the first Red Faction had a system for terrain deformation that was of questionable utility, Red Faction Guerrilla, in a good move, decides to nix that entirely and just make everything above ground destructible instead. Pretty much any standing building on the entire map can be smashed, bashed, or exploded into tiny pieces. And you will be doing this a lot. A big part of your arsenal is satchel charges and rockets, which cause huge amounts of collateral damage. Also, vehicles can smash through the wall of a warehouse without much trouble. And then there is your primary weapon. It is a sledgehammer, and with it, one mighty swing can bring down both men and their monuments to hubris. Unfortunately, though, it's not all sledgehammers and sarsaparillas. Red Faction Guerilla is a very flawed game. It has one good idea, destructible buildings, and it executes that idea really well. But all the other aspects of the game fall short by comparison. General combat is of note here. Standard weapons, assault rifles and shotguns don't really feel that powerful or interesting to use. There's a cover system that doesn't really feel like it belongs in a game about running around causing massive explosions everywhere. Now, there are more interesting weapons like rocket launchers and lightning guns, but because enemies aren't dropping ammo for these unless you're getting into a firefight directly next to an ammo crate, you can very easily find yourself high and dry and forced to rely on just whatever your opponents are dropping at the time. Also, the environment isn't very interesting. I know this game is taking place on the red planet of Mars, but does that mean that everything has to be so brown and gray and reddish brown? The real problem here is that the terrain doesn't have a whole lot of useful variety. Structures are concentrated in small areas, and when there are structures around to hide and maneuver around, typically they're going to get smashed flat within a short amount of time. I mean, if you ever get into a firefight on open terrain, you're a dead man because there's nowhere to hide and the enemy has computer precise targeting. Still, I gotta admit, I really do kind of like Red Faction Guerilla. The destructible terrain is just so visceral and tactical. Oh, is this a wall in front of me? No, it's not. Oh, is that enemy trying to take cover behind that structure? No, he's not. Man, it is just so satisfying to be able to bring down an entire barracks using nothing more than a sledgehammer and your own righteous fury. It's just a shame that having to fight off an infinite wave of enemy soldiers at the same time only frustrates the catharsis that such an act would normally provide. And so, Bottom line, what kind of score would I give to Red Faction Guerilla? Considering that it is a game of average storyline and third-person shooting, but above average physical destruction. You know what? I would go ahead and give it 3 out of 4 stars. That might seem a little generous, but what it sets out to do, it does really well. I would recommend this one to anyone who likes the idea of a sandbox action game where nothing built by man can hold you back. Alright, thanks for listening, and always keep in mind that you can run, and run, and run, but you can't hide from the hammer.